Hello everyone, this is Godzilla with One, and I'm back with another of my Guardians of Harmony toy review series of videos that I'm doing with Guardians of Harmony Rainbow Dash, who I admit is one of my favorites of the main six. I really do like her. She's a fun character. I like that she finally actually got to achieve her dream of being a Wonderbolt. That is cool. But regardless, here she is, and she is actually pretty cool. And you're probably wondering, why is this thing attached to her? Well, because this thing is really hard to get on, so I didn't want to put it on screen, but I just wanted to show it attaches. So let's get it off of her so I can move on to the review. I will get to this. I don't really like that thing anyway, but we will get to it. She is, well, Rainbow Dash. She has the rainbow mane and tail, which look a little odd because in the show, you know, you see most of the colors from one perspective, and they kind of have to cheat a little bit here. It still looks like her, though. So her mane does look a little weird, but that's just because physics. But, you know, it is appropriate she is the right shade of cyan, which is not showing up entirely well on my camera, and of course you don't see the cutie mark on one side. But there it is, the rainbow lightning bolt coming out of a cloud, which is nice and very well tampographed on there. Her tail is interesting in that it looks the same on both sides, but it does have a slight difference to it. And of course, she is Rainbow Dash, so proud smirk, very appropriate for her. That is basically her default expression. So she would not be Rainbow Dash if she was not smirking like that. So she definitely fits the character that she is supposed to be. This could be no one but Rainbow Dash. I do think the mane looks a little weird, but that again is because physics. I think it looks a little better from that side, even though it's not the right. I mean, the colors look better, but her mane looks more like itself from this side. But that's just, you know, the nature of physics. The way the sprites are done in the show just does not exist in real life. So this is basically what they have to go with. And she still looks pretty nice overall. And in terms of articulation, she is the same as the others. Universal shoulders, knee that bends to a decent amount, both directions. Swivel above the knee on both of her front legs. Hind leg can go all the way around. And has a articulated neck so she can get into proper poses. Her hair does kind of clash with her wings over here, so you can't turn her head as far this direction because stuff starts bumping together. But that's just the nature of how her hairstyle is. She can put her head all the way back, put it all the way down, and she can, of course, get a bit of a flying pose if you want to. You can also move her tail to accommodate it, so she can look like she is in flight if you so choose. Which, of course, is Rainbow Dash. She flies. And you can get her head all the way down, so if you do want her to look like she's flying and looking straight down, you can. I wish, she has one character I wish had better knees. I mean, had actual knees on her hind legs, so she could get a little more. Her wings are on ball joints, so they can go down that far. They don't just stick. I wish they could go all the way down, but I'm not sure how you would get that. They can go all the way up, all the way down. I would honestly prefer if the jointing was a little different, but I get that they use a gang mold or something like that. One, like a base body, so they have to account for accessories on the others. I just wish that her joints were a little better there. Ball jointed tail, as with the others. And, you know, in general, pretty good. It's a bit harder to get her to stand on 3 legs, but it is possible. You just have to finagle a little bit, and you can do it. It's just a little more difficult than it is with Pinky, but I have done it. You just gotta get everything just right, and yes, she can stand on 3 legs. Just in case you're thinking I was holding her off screen, no, there she is. So you can get her on 3 legs. It's a little more difficult to get her pointing, and but that reveals the stamp anyway. I'm not sure if this leg might be a little easier because there might be less weight, maybe. No, but again, these are full quadrupeds, so you kind of would need you will need a stand for a few poses. I'm feeling she works a little better than Pinkie Pie because her cutie mark is on a side that actually looks a bit better when you're looking at her head on, where Pinkie Pie seemed a little bit off, but I wish there was cutie marks on both sides, but what you gonna do? Overall, she's a pretty good figure. Like, she is a good representation of Rainbow Dash. And, of course, you can get her on her hind legs to, like, stand for, like, sort of maybe an action pose or something, which makes a bit more sense for Rainbow Dash because she does martial arts. So, if you finagle everything around, I know I like to use the word finagle, it's a fun word. You can get her into a bit more of an action pose if you want to, but really these figures you need a bit of a stand for. I wish they came with like a stand, even if it was just a little thing that pegged into the bottom of their hoof on the back to give them some support. But overall, pretty poseable figure. If you have a stand, she can get into some nice poses. She just also looks good just being there. But on to her accessory count, we have this, which is just a little lightning bolt. Yeah, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with this. It's a lightning bolt. I mean, a lightning bolt makes sense because she's a Pegasus and can control the weather and has used lightning bolts in the past, but it's a weird lightning bolt with a cloud on it. And it's supposed to, like, attach to her leg, which I guess maybe looks like she's doing something. Personally, I think it would look... Well, actually, you can kind of do that. You could have it on her wing, which makes a bit more sense. So you could have it up here on the wing, which I think makes a little more sense, but it's just kind of a weird accessory I don't understand. The better accessory is her goggles, which, yes, she has worn these in the show. They are pretty accurate to some she's worn on occasion with translucent lenses, picked out in, I guess, gunmetal almost? I don't know what you'd call this color. But it is, and it's much better than Chrysalis's thing. You need to get it in right. I think I got it in wrong, to be honest. Like, you've got a few ways you can have her with it. And that's neither of the ways I just did it are well. I think that's the way you're wanting to do it, but you want to pull them apart. They're flexible, so don't worry about breaking it unless you pull way harder than you should. And just put them over her eyes, and finagle them a little bit to get them in the right position, and there you go. Rainbow Dash with her goggles, which do look really nice. I like how they look. They fit her. It's an accessory she has in the show. This is something she would wear, so I appreciate it. It is a fitting accessory for her, and I'm glad she includes it. Her other accessory is her turtle, well, no, tortoise, they specify that, Tank, who adorably has his own matching set of goggles, which is adorable. The goggles are molded in and painted so they don't come off of him. He has his little, like, flying rig that he has, which I'm assuming Twilight made. We never really find out who made it, I don't think, but I'm assuming it's Twilight, and it does spin. Weirdly, though, he's kind of in a flying pose, so, like, he's kind of posed like he's flying, so if you have a string, you can have him, like, hanging and, like, floating next to her. Another benefit is, because she does sometimes, like, you know, pet him on the back and stuff, you can use him as, like, a bit of a stand for her and, like, have her, you know, petting him like she does sometimes. Like, or at least patting him on the shell. She has done that a few times. So that is a pose that makes sense for her. And he is really nicely done. Like, I'm going to get another close-up here, but he is really nicely done. Like, he has his spots like he's supposed to have. Even his underbelly is painted. Like, even the back, like, it looks like even some of his toes are painted. Like, which is not really picking up. But yeah, his hind toes are painted. Which is very nice attention to detail. So yeah, we get little Tank, who is a good tortoise. I like Tank. And again, you can have her, like, you know, petting him on the shell and use him as a bit of a support for her. Which makes sense and is something that we see in the show, her just patting him on the shell. And of course, like the others, she comes with her own insignia. which is just kind of a Wonderbolt-ish, I guess, insignia, because does look like it's a Wonderbolt on there. And this might be the Wonderbolt insignia. I don't think it is. I think that comes with Soren and Spitfire, who I don't have. But it's a nice insignia. I like it. And fits her very well. And, of course, like the others, the packaging is done in an interesting way, where we get a bit of a backdrop from the show that is unique to her, which is, I believe, Ghastly Gorge is what this is, which is appropriate for her and Tank, because this was where she first met, where she made Tank her pet. I was going to say first met, but she met him on Fluttershy's land, so... But it is Ghastly Gorge. It is fitting for Rainbow Dash and Tank, because this is where she made Tank her pet. Interesting enough, though, the back of the box, unlike the others, has her with the backdrop of a bit of a park or forest, which is a little odd, to be honest. But that's just what they chose to do. But anyway, that's Rainbow Dash for you, and I really like her. Like, if you have a stand that can support her, she can do some pretty interesting she could probably get into some nice poses. Like, due to how she is, you might even be able to get her into like a drop kick, where it looks at least like she's looking in the direction she is kicking. So you can kind of do that. Or you can kind of get her into a bit of a punching pose, which is more appropriate for her than any of the other characters. But you can get her into some interesting action poses if you have a stand that can support her. And I like Rainbow Dash. She is cool. And I have always liked Rainbow Dash. She's always been a favorite character of mine. So I'm glad to have a figure of her that actually looks pretty cool. The Lightning Bolt accessory is stupid. I don't like this accessory. I don't know what they were going for with it. I think probably a better accessory would have been like, well, for her, probably something to have her in a flight pose. But barring that, probably something Wonderbolt related. Because that is her entire shtick. She is a Wonderbolt. So maybe some Wonderbolt memorabilia or something else. But I kind of overlooked that because her goggles are a really good accessory. One of my favorite accessories in the line. And because they just fit her so well. It's an iconic, I'm not going to say iconic, but a recurring accessory she has in the show that fits her very well and is pulled off way better, and I knocked her goggles out of position again. And Tank is a nice little figure, and I really like that she comes with him. He is adorable and fits her very well. And is, I believe, pretty much in scale with him because he is about the size of her head. So, yep, pretty good set. I highly recommend this. I highly recommend most of the Guardians of Harmony set. It's a really good set. The comic is kind of nuts and basically a toy commercial. But overall, these toys are really good. I highly recommend them. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.